I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Leo for April 2017. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog, and sign up for my free email newsletter where you will get a monthly write-up for the astrology that is coming ahead. So what's going on in the month of April? We're still in the midst of this retrograde energy, time to be the earthworm and work over old ground to make fertile soil for new growth in the future. It is a time to wrap up unfinished business. We will talk about more of the general transit energy later, but first I want to talk about something specific for Leo. The first thing on my mind to discuss is this placement called transiting North Node. The North Node in the natal chart has to do with your highest expression in this lifetime. I don't let anyone get through a reading with me, nor do I let my apprentices let anyone get through a reading with them without a very thorough focus on the North Node, because everyone needs to know what their highest expression is in this lifetime, what they're here to do, what their purpose is. So when we're looking at a horoscope chart and looking at the transiting North Node, the area of the transiting North Node holds keys to the individual's bigger purpose and happiness. So for you early degree placements, so like the first 10 days of the sign, the first 10 birthdays of Leo, or the first 10 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign, you have this transiting North Node energy in the second house. And so that's telling us that the keys to your happiness as it relates to this North Node placement have to do with becoming smart with money and assessing your values. So you can take that, work with it, see how you can more efficiently manage your finances better, manage your values in such a way that your efforts line up with what is valuable to you. The rest of you Leo placements, the focus for this North Node transit is in your first house, which makes your keys to happiness in the area of self-care. Self-care is the key to your highest expression, one of the keys to your highest expression at this point. So the more you can better take care of yourself, the more it's going to be easier for you to align with your highest purpose. And I think that self-care is a universal message for everybody. So even the earlier degree placements of Leo, definitely take that one in and use it, But as far as this particular placement, there is a very specific theme for you middle and late degree placements of Leo for really getting your self-care routine in order. So I wanted to give you those tidbits about the North Node. So there is a very full ninth house for early, middle, and late degree placements. There are different planets moving through for each of you, whether you're early, middle, or late degree placement, but regardless of which planets they are, you all have focus in this place in your chart. The ninth house has to do with writing, teaching, learning, traveling long distance. It has to do with different countries, different languages, different cultures, international business, religion, or themes of spirituality, creative resolutions, things like that. Basically the bigger picture, things that you can look down on from a mountain and look at the bigger story of something. That's the energy that is coming up strongly for you now. So you might have one of those things I mentioned, teaching, learning, traveling, it's coming up as a focus, as an opportunity, as something to look at, or you might just be looking at the bigger picture and you might find that you're just voraciously learning about different things. I often find when those planetary energies move into this Sag house, it's a Sagittarius house that's being affected here, that people will go on book benders. People who have a lot of Sagittarius in their chart tend to have books all over the place. I know I always have 15,000 piles of books. I'm a Sag. And when you have this energy move through here, it's like you can't get enough of learning or you can't get enough of teaching or both. It's an expansive knowledge, experience, hungry type of placement, and it can open up new horizons. So hopefully you'll have your horizons broadened either through information coming to you or through experiences coming to you. And if you're looking for an uplifted viewpoint, you might also experience that. There are a lot of energies in Aries right now, and that's complementary to your Leo sign. So When you have fire energies at play, it tends to fuel you, it inspires you, it helps you think bigger, it motivates you, it makes you have a fresh perspective. So I hope that all of that kicks up in really wonderful ways for you. A longer term transit that I want to talk about, and this is, over several years, this is not just right now. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because I'm talking about Saturn, and Saturn is about to go retrograde this month. The 5th or 6th of this month, it will go retrograde. Depending on what time zone you're in, it'll be a different day. But you're going to sort of get a break from whatever challenges, obstacles, or hard work Saturn has been bringing to you. And that is specifically in the 5th house. For most of you will experience all of this in the 5th house. Some of you will experience some of this in the 5th house, but the 5th house is a focus for Saturn for all Leo placements. So the 5th house, okay, so basically Saturn can bring obstacles, challenges, difficulties, tasks, and discipline that are necessary in a certain field of experience for you to bring something to fruition, into manifestation. So this 5th house is the house of Leo. It's the house of children and creative projects. The energy of a creative project is like, it's like a baby, the same way as you have an inspiration, you have a conception of an idea, you have the hard work to birth the idea and then to care for the project. That energy of this creative force at play is what we're talking about here. So Saturn has been hazing many Leos into having to work harder to bring their bigger dreams into fruition, like having to do those daily details that sometimes dreary, boring details that will bring that creative dream to life. So it's very possible that if you've been working really hard on trying to have a child, or if you've been having challenges with children that you already have, or if there's something going on with your creation process with your creative, baby, or even your romantic interest. This is the house of true love, so a romantic experience can be in here. So if there has been heaviness or challenges, from the beginning of April through August 25th, when Saturn is retrograde, you might get a little bit of a break, a time to integrate, a time to breathe from those lessons. Each planet, each sign, each transit, everything has a potential range from positive to negative. There's a spectrum of potential experience. The two big things that I see working with Saturn, on the upside, is the bringing to fruition, the creation, the form, the manifestation of something, the gelling of something. And on the challenging end, it's the hazing, the obstacles, the difficulties, the slowdowns, the feeling like you're walking through mud, So if you've been feeling that, then hopefully this retrograde will give you a little bit of a break where you can get things situated so that for the rest of the transit, which, will end this year for some of you, and it's going to go into next year for others of you because it's staggered. So for the early degree placements for your birthday in the beginning of the sign, so we'll say like July born Leos, you're going to have this phase out this year, but you're still going to have, for the rest of you, are going to have this Saturn moving through 5th house story into 2018, and for some of you even beyond. So it's going to be staggered as far as how long that experience is going on. But do know that Saturn brings gifts. When it does actually leave a house, when it does leave a sign, whenever it leaves some aspect of what it's doing, it does bring long-term gifts. So your work is not in vain. I hope that you enjoy the rest that will likely come from the retrograde. And know that the harder you work when Saturn is asking you to, the more magnificent your creation and permanent your creation will be. So those are the things that are specific on my mind for Leos. Now I want to talk about the sweet spots and the challenging spots this month in the general astrology. I'm calling the theme of April, the general astrology transits that will affect everyone. Wrap it up. We still have a major focus on retrograde energy. We started this theme in December of 2016, and every month until now, we've had a personal planet retrograde and or the shadow period of a personal planet retrograde. So this idea of taking unfinished business and clearing it up so that when we move forward and we have these signs of moving forward, especially towards the end of April, when Mars gets into Gemini and the energy really starts to stir up, we'll have this feeling of where we're going, this long-awaited actual movement on an external level in the outer realms. But this month of April is a time to wrap it up. It's a time to resolve unfinished business. When I was planning these horoscopes, I was sitting one day in a place that had inspirational quotes flashing across the screen. And there was one that said, "There's more to life than increasing its speed." And that was by Mahatma Gandhi. And I really, really liked that as something to mention for this month, because the energy of retrograde is just the antidote to this overbusy, overscheduled world. So the more we can take stock of things closer to home, take stock of internal events. You know, it's not that you can't say yes to opportunities that come in your external realms. Of course, it's fine to do things. Just know that new things that seem to come in a retrograde time often will change their terms compared to what you agree to, or they might be shorter term than you anticipate. That doesn't have to be a problem. That doesn't mean you can't activate it. It's just an awareness to have. But as far as intentionally doing something, you know, it just lends itself to shorter term contracts, and it lends itself to wrapping up unfinished business. So we've got this theme that continues through April. Like I said, at the end of the month, you'll start to see things stirring up as far as like actual authentic outer movements coming soon. So I want to talk about some of the aspects that are going to be relevant this month. I'm going to give you a list of some of them, but you can get a more complete list when you go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and sign up for my free email newsletter. I do a write-up for the upcoming month, and I send that out a month early as well, to give you more details of days that have good energy, days that have challenging energy, and how to, you know, what you might expect with those things. But here's a more summarized list. We start out the month with a really great burst of energy with Mars in Taurus trining Pluto in Capricorn. Mars rules action and Pluto rules transformation, and a trine is the best aspect in astrology. So, you know, you might see something come in that that could be notable, or you might use that time to try to get something done that's important. The same days, like April 5th, April 6th, Saturn's going to go retrograde. When an outer planet goes retrograde, there are different effects than when an inner planet goes retrograde, because outer planets spend a very long period of time retrograde, and inner planets, you know, the ones closer to us, they go retrograde in a different type of cycle. They're not retrograde as long as these outer planets. But in any case, when Saturn goes retrograde, I see it actually as getting a break from Saturn's chop busting. You know, Saturn is the disciplinarian, it's the taskmaster. It wants you to do something, you know, to be on point, to step it up, to work really hard, to work smarter, to do all of this stuff, have all these lessons in the signs and houses that it's moving through. When it goes in retrograde, it actually eases up a little bit, where your to-do list is more manageable, where you can integrate the lessons, where you get a break. So I'm excited about the Saturn in retrograde for all of us, and that will be from around April 5th or 6th, depending on your time zone, until August 25th. Then we have on April 7th. Now I'm giving you the dates that these happen, but we can feel the effects of planetary transits before or after the actual day that they happen. So just be aware of that. So on April 7th, we have this yearly Sun opposing Jupiter clash. And this time the Sun is in Aries and Jupiter is in Libra. So this theme that we had quite a bit of last month through major outer planet connections, we have another little burst of this. So Aries is me, Libra is we. So it's like someone's individuality is conflicting with something in relationship, or a relationship obligation, or an opinion of someone you're in relationship with. So that could bring a moment, you know, in relationships where there's a clash there. On April 10th, we have the full moon, and that's at 21 degrees of Libra. This full moon is going to be conjunct Jupiter and square Pluto. All of the planets, all of the signs, all of the placements have a potential to have positive or negative effects. Sometimes we think about Jupiter as having positive luck-bringing effects, and that can often be true. When Jupiter is sitting next to something else, like an event like a full moon, it amplifies it. full moons are intense already. So the completion, the fruition, something coming to be in the areas of Libra might be more intense or more expanded. So something notable with relationship, something, someone coming to an agreement, something coming to a closure, and some sort of something with an interpersonal relationship will probably be the theme there. And the square to Pluto usually means that there's some sort of, person with some control or entity with some control that is not making the situation easier. Usually some sort of force that just seems like it's working against you. So I always like to leave a little room around the full moons because they're often emotional, and you might want to have the space to tend to whatever comes up there, whether it's a great positive thing coming to fruition that you want to be present for, or whether it's a challenge that's going to be emotional and you'll need a little time to recover. I think it's a good idea to leave some space around that full moon, which is on April 10th. On April 16th, there is a nice angle between Venus in Pisces and Mars in Taurus that could bring resolutions in relationships. So it's possible that that full moon accentuates this issue, and that maybe this Venus-Mars aspect could bring some sort of accord back into the picture. On April 17th, there's a beautiful angle between the Sun, which is in Aries, and Saturn, which is in Sagittarius. So this could bring a boost to long-term goals or something that you've been working on for a while, some sort of positive energy there. And then on April 19th or the 20th, depending on where you are, the Sun in Aries is conjunct Mercury. Now, the energy, or actually by then it's in Taurus. So it's the Sun in Taurus conjunct Mercury. So this is going to bring a dose of realism and or a dose of productivity. Whenever planets get together, they have an amplified effect. Sometimes the effects can be a positive experience, sometimes the effects can be a negative experience. The Sun amplifies, Mercury is communication or information or news. So I see it as a realism or productive, something bringing productivity around that time. Then on April 21st and the days around there, especially watch your security on all levels and other private and personal information, because Venus in Pisces is going to square Saturn and Sag, and Saturn can bring some hard lessons and want some details attended to. And Venus rules money and love, and Pisces is stuff kind of going on in the backdrop. So just, be cautious of your personal things in the backdrop, especially around that time. Then on April 24th, we have Mercury in Aries making this beautiful aspect to Saturn and Sag, just like the Sun did a few days before. So this can bring in good news or more boosts to long-term goals. There are some themes that I'm seeing, a theme that I'm seeing this month because of a lot of pretty nice Saturn aspects, are these boosts to long-term goals. Now, even though we're in the midst of something, this retrograde energy that's kind of like a short-term energy or a going backwards energy, but if you've been working over this time to see to details in the backdrop, you might see these Saturn aspects really start to light up, showing the work that you've done is actually getting somewhere. On or around the 26th, you'll feel that new moon energy, and that's going to be at 6 degrees of Taurus. New moons are times to make wishes. You can check out my video, Making Wishes Come True. If you just search for Annie, Making Wishes Come True, you can learn more about how you can use these new moon energies. But basically you get 10 wishes at each new moon, and the more you align your wishes to the energies of the sign that the moon is in, the more easily the universe can bring those wishes into fruition. I also have a blog up on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, called Making Powerful New Moon in Taurus Wishes that you can use specifically for this moon on the 26th. So Taurus energy rules money, finances, self-sufficiency, connectedness to earth, or eco-friendly types of things, earth sustainability projects. Also values. So anything along those lines will get a bigger boost when you wish for them around this time. Then around the 28th, and it's very close to this new moon energy, enough so that these energies could blend together, you could have electrifying experiences or information come in because Mercury is conjunct Uranus. And this is happening in Aries. So you really, anytime you have something involving Uranus, you got to look out for surprises. When it's in Aries, which it has been and is going to be for a while, you have to guard your physicality, especially your head. So, something, you moving along and something bumping your head, the odds of that are increased during that time. So just watch yourself. Now, the odds are just as likely as information will bonk into your head, as opposed to the literal hitting into your head. Insights, sudden breakthroughs. It's a really great time for brainstorming. Whenever I see aspects like this with Uranus, I really love it for brainstorming on any topic. Then we close out the month, April 30th, with this energy of Saturn and Sagittarius with Chiron and Pisces. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's an asteroid that really shows us how we have deep levels of woundedness and how that shows up in our lives and how we can make our weakest link become a blessing and a major strength in our lives. So at this time, there could be opportunities for great forgiveness to occur of self and others, and transcending the issue of feeling like a victim. So these are the things that are most on my mind for the general astrology for the month of April. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where you can see more about my professional development courses. You can keep track of the registration for my astrology apprenticeship program, my coach certification and online business course. If you'd love to be a professional coach, help people reach their goals, that is one of the things I'm really good at, and I love to teach people how to help other people to do that. You can check that out. And I also teach my Creating Successful Online Business course if you would like to bring your business online and be free of your geography. So sign up for my email newsletter to get my monthly report. See what's new on my blog at anniehelpsyou.com. Have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.